Hey everyone, Rob. I'm back with week 7 from my full Maffetone diet challenge, 2 week challenge, and this week was a little bit different than the first 6 weeks. Starting off with my granddaughter's graduation, where the party had nothing but sugars and carbs, and the week went downhill from there. So, just real quickly, let's kind of take a look at some of the changes over the week. I think the most noticeable thing will be the reversal of my weight loss trend. The good news is it wasn't too egregious, but to give you some sense of how this week went, we started off Sunday with graduation party, and I mean literally everything was cake and candies and sugar and so what I've been trying to do since week 2 is what I call my 5-and-2 plan. From Friday evening till Sunday at lunch, I can just sort of eat whatever I want, and then Sunday evening resume the low carb. Well, Sunday evening I did not resume the low carb. Then as the week progressed, for whatever reason, this turned into the carbo week from hell. We had spaghetti. We had all sorts of different fruits with sugars in them. It's that time of the year where Bing cherries and grapes and everything are in season, and so we had multiple fruit and things of that nature through the course of the week. We had multiple pasta events during the week. Things like that. So I think we even, we threw in some popcorn in there, and maybe even, I don't think we had ice cream this week, but bottom line is, I don't think there was a single day in the course of the whole week that was completely carb-free, sugar-free. Now, so I'm going to hide my ugly mug here, and let's go and take a look at and see what happened. So, these are the things that I've been tracking in terms of characteristics, benefits, whatever. And all of them were true, except we had a little bit of reversal here on the weight loss trend. For those of you joining in late, we're talking about the philmaffetone.com 2-week challenge. Here's the link, and here are, this. It's just like it says, philmaffetone.com. And this page we're looking at is the recipes, and so let's take a look now at this week. All right, where are we? We're coming end of this week here. This past week, you can see. You notice that the weight trend here is positive. So we actually gained a fair amount. I kind of peaked out here. At one point, I was down here at 193. I peaked out at 195.8, and then by the time we got back to this Sunday, I was back down to 195 a little bit. So, a net of 2 pounds loss, but it's definitely was a week where I didn't get as much. If you look over here, the blue represents caloric events or training events. I probably had I think that was a bike ride there. So this last week was a combination of things, and excuses, right? But bottom line is a combination of things where I didn't get much physical fitness activity going on, and we were doing a fair amount of carb consumption here. So let's blow this up a little bit to give you a sense of, early on, the first 2.5 weeks, I lost about 10 pounds, and then I had lost down to 193 over, the remainder. So I was sitting down here, where I think right here is 193. I was sitting down here basically at a 15.8 pound loss at this point. And then, this week was kind of the week from carbo hell. And the good news, I did pick up weight. It didn't explode. It's not like I went back up to 198, 199 or something like that. in the long scheme of my weight monitoring, I mentioned in previous videos that I spent about 10 years, 15 years at 195 plus or minus 3 pounds. And I operated on a philosophy. I weighed myself in the morning, and if I was more than 195, I would watch what I eat. And if I was below 195, I just didn't really pay any attention to what I ate. And that put me in about a plus or minus 3 pound band. And so you can see here that since about the 24th, that's kind of where we've been. Since I hit the 195, we've just kind of been bouncing around in this band like before. And I haven't been quite as aggressive on the low carb, low sugar. I do want to have a sustainable diet that once I get to my target weight, that I can eat enough of the things that I enjoy. I like steak, I like pork chops, I like chicken, but we all like ice cream too, right? So we want to be able to enjoy life. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing pretty solid in terms of maintaining the general band of 195, which was my weight for the 10 or 15 years before COVID struck us. Okay, so with that said, up a little bit. I was a little bit disappointed in myself for not maintaining myself below the 195. It does happen. So the hope is this coming week, sort of re-energize myself. We literally had carbs every single day here. I will say this. In the morning, afternoon, and pre-dinner window, I was adhering to the low carb, no carb philosophy. It just happened to be that either at dinner or maybe for dessert, there would be something that violated the Phil Maffetone concept of low carb, no sugar kind of thing. And so I think if I had been careless and had Danish for breakfast and had a Coke to wake me up instead of non-sweetened drinks, things like that this number very well could have jumped up 3 or 4 pounds. It jumped up about 2 pounds. At one point, it got up 2.8. I went from 193 to a peak of 115.8, and then it started to come back down a little bit. So we'll continue to monitor this. This trend here did reverse a little bit this week. Generally speaking, the other features here are still good. The carbo, what I call a GI distress level, I probably had more distress this week than the previous 6 weeks. So that's that continues to be a true trend. I had a couple of borderline acid reflux. Kind of when I laid down at night, sort of felt like maybe, but actually did not have any reflux events. So, the carbs definitely, and I'm not sure if it's just the carbs or if it's the carbs and the timing. Maybe, if you have popcorn in the evening, maybe the timing helps with the reflux. But this is now week 7 with no acid reflux events. So, again, before that, I was getting to where I was taking, a Nexium knockoff for every couple times a week. So, generally speaking, the trend is still overall is good. I did regress a little bit on my weight. I picked up a little bit of weight. So the question will be, what happens next week? How disciplined am I? And what are the results for week 8? And when I talk about discipline, I want to get to the right sustainability plan where it doesn't take a lot of discipline to do, right? Because if something takes too much discipline to do all the time, you're just not going to likely be able to sustain it. So that's kind of where I'm at. We'll see how next week goes. Hopefully it's a little better. More to follow. So hope this is helpful, and we'll see you next week.